Hey, ReadyUpLive, I was recently in beautiful San Francisco for the chance to play Watch Dogs 2. We were allowed to play 2 hours of the game, and I'm allowed to show you some of what I experienced. So the background footage is my own capture. This is actually me playing the game. Now, I played Watch Dogs 1, and I think that game gets a little more hate than it necessarily deserved. Sure, it was a little overhyped, and the graphics issue, they had to cut back on graphics, and there were some things like that that were definitely iffy, but the game itself wasn't too bad. It did some neat things. You know, there's so much to say about every GTA clone out there. They all do something a little different. I mean, you look at Saints Row, and I also love Saints Row. I think it's a great game, but it just does things differently. And Watch Dogs also does things differently. Watch Dogs 2 is trying to fix what was essentially not perfect about the first game. One of the most interesting things to me about my Watch Dogs 2 experience is how much I wanted to walk rather than drive. Just like the first one, you see people on the street, you see their occupations, their salary, and fun fact about them, and that's always kind of fun and interesting to see. Sure, it's a little gimmicky, but it's just fun. But people are doing things. There's a lot of interesting things happening in the streets. There are arrests going on. You can just see cops, taking people down. And it's not just like GTA. They don't just pop out and shoot them. They actually try to arrest people. They tell them to put their hands up. They throw them on the ground. They cuff them. It's kind of cool. So I got to play a couple story missions. I didn't finish all the ones I was allowed to play. I was too busy exploring and having a good time, seeing the variety of things I could show to you guys.
One little problem.
What?
Here, hold this. Stand back. Great. Chip! It's a little hard to get out. Look, there's no point in trying to use the previous version's hardware to jack the new OS. Why? Because they changed the ports. Following the capitalist guide to forced obsolescence. But luckily, a little birdie told me that 2.0 should be packing a farm-fresh 0-day.
Ooh, now that might just be a shame.
Damn right. And that is why you, my friend, are going to hijack me a 2.0 pre-order shipment before some do-gooder white hat tells home how to cock-block us.
But I like what I see so far. There's some interesting characters, and I think that was a big issue with the first game, is that no one really liked Aiden Pierce. He was super, super generic. There was nothing special about him. You couldn't relate to him. He was just a guy.
You've got a weird relationship with technology. You know that, right?
In Watch Dogs 2, you play Marcus Holloway. Now, unfortunately, since I got thrown into the experience a little later in the story, I haven't connected to him yet. I'm interested to see his story origin, and I really hope it's nothing too obvious. It's nothing too Ubisoft. It's so easy to just be like, oh, his parents were killed or something, and so you like him because of that. He seems like a kind of cool guy, and the characters you interact with are all definitely unique. Some of them are a little over the top, so I hope they don't go too overboard with that. A lot of the game feels like trying to shove this modern electro-punk into your face. And I get it, it's supposed to. That's kind of the idea. I just hope it doesn't go overboard. I want it to retain that sense of reality. Like every open world game like this, there's always stuff to do on the sides. You got the typical stuff. You got races and such. I checked out a checkpoint race with a motorcycle/dirt bike. That was kind of fun. There's drone races where you just fly as fast as possible through hoops and such. I don't think I was actually racing against other drones, though that would have been cool. The vehicles handle a lot better than they did in the first game. The first game, they were weird, to say the least. I think my only beef so far was that in air, they felt odd when you're flying off a bunch of jumps. They felt kind of floaty. One of the, in my opinion, big new features about this game is that you always have 2 drones with you. You have a little roller drone dude, and you have a flying drone. You can throw these out whenever and use both of them at the same time. So you can, this seems to be the easy way to do it. What a lot of players do, in my experience in that little capture session, was you start by throwing the air drone, you toss it in, scope an area out, maybe trick a couple guys. Since you can long range hack things with this, so you could, set a lure on a trap and have somebody get shocked and knocked out or blown up or something. And then once you're happy with that, you've seen what you want to see, you've tagged what you want to tag, you can roll in your roller drone and see what he can activate, because he can go through vents and he can actually physically touch buttons. There's some buttons that cannot be hacked, some switches and such, but that guy can do it. He can roll right up to, say, a fuse box and cut it or something. In the first game, despite it being all stealthy, you never really had to. I always ran around. I just caused havoc. I just whipped out my gun and just killed everybody. That was the way I played. This game was way more fun to do stealth and also very difficult to not do stealth. I died quite a few times. It's always funny playing games like this and going to these events and stuff. Well, luckily, we had our own little booth, so no one was watching us. But it's always strange when you die, you get killed. Like, oh, wow, sorry. Like, it's just being thrown into the middle of a game, not having done the tutorials, not having, got up to speed with how your abilities work and gotten used to the gameplay. Sometimes that'll happen. You can definitely go guns blazing, but if you take a few shots, you're dead. You're out. I do like how you die and it goes all slow-mo and it's kind of cool, but it's like, oh, crap, like it happened again. There's a few places where I always gave up. I'm like, I've been really stealth for a while and it's been a long time. Screw it. I'm going to go in. I'm going to whip out a grenade launcher. Nope. Just got absolutely owned. This game also focuses a lot more on free running. When you hold right trigger a la Assassin's Creed, you enter free running mode and you start climbing things, and that's all you gotta do, just hold it and just run. Like, that doesn't make you sprint like Assassin's Creed games necessarily. Yeah, you click the left thumbstick to sprint, and then you hold the right trigger to do these things. And sometimes it's cool, as you're dropping, you'll do a sweet backflip off a ledge. I definitely felt more agile. There's a rooftop. I was sure I can get on top of it. Almost any rooftop I see, I'm like, yeah, I can get up there somehow. There's going to be some garbage can I can climb. You can jump relatively high in terms of what you can climb. It's not just like waist height that I can reach. You can climb fences and such. You can find collectible clothing items around the environment. Speaking of clothing, the customization is a lot better than the first Watch Dogs. In the first one, it was limited, if you guys remember. You could have, like, the only major difference being your hat could be flat brimmed or not, right? Otherwise, it was just bright trench coats. In this game, you can do a lot more. I mean, you can wear a helmet, you can wear Crocs, you can do stuff like that. The first thing I did, I spent a while driving to all the different shops, and yes, they do matter. If you go, depending on what shop you go to, if you go to a fancy shop, you can get, a suit. If you go to an urban shop, you can get t-shirts, etc. You can customize your bag, your sunglasses, even your face mask. I didn't find as many of those, though, but that's a pretty cool thing. So I decked my guy out in sweet biker gear. You gotta be protected. You know what? What if I fall? Safety first, kids. You got a couple cool abilities that are more mass distractions. You can control any vehicle, even if you're driving a vehicle, you can fully control it to tell it to go backwards, forwards, left, right. So you could be, for instance, being pursued by a single police car. You can look behind you and tell that police car to stop or take a sharp turn. It's a neat little thing that's actually pretty fun. You feel powerful. In the first one, it was cool, that idea. They're like, oh yeah, I can turn off lights and, do something simple like that. But in this game, you truly feel like you control the world around you. You have mass attacks where you can make every single person's phone go nuts. So everyone around you gets distracted and their phones start ringing and such. You can also do a mass traffic jam where every car in your vicinity starts freaking out. So you just cause accidents all over, and you can stop the police from chasing you or just cause a distraction. You can also call the cops on someone. And what it does is you change that person's police record, and it gives them a record, and police will show up and start arresting that person. And what they do next is up to that AI character. They may run and resist arrest, and the police will chase after them and make it interesting, or they'll just submit, and they'll get taken down by the cops.
Do not attempt to
Come and
flee.
get me.
Suspect is resisting
Shit.
arrest.
What's happening?
Don't run. We just have some questions for you. You!
And if you're a little more ruthless, you can call the gang after someone. You call a gang to attack someone and just murder them. So it's a little ruder, I'd say.
Look out! Someone call 911.
The coolest mission, which myself and pretty much everyone else I played the game with said, was the house mission. This is a mission where your goal is to merely infiltrate a house. No one's home, but the security system is home. Some cleaning robots and such are home. There's laser tripwires. And the premise, the setup, sounds so simple, but it was extremely fun. It was very fresh. It felt like Splinter Cell again. While it's so easy to, either using my drones or myself, long-range disable something, disable these tripwires, disable these robots, they didn't stay disabled forever. the time ticks down and you're notified when it's about to run out. So you had to constantly switch between robots or look back down and say, okay, I gotta time this guy out again. And you only have so much energy. So you gotta make sure that energy doesn't run out and you're just caught in between a rock and a hard place. I didn't even realize this, but some of the other guys said there's other things you can do. You can make the robots your friends. You can make them dance. You can do stuff like that. But it was really interesting having this very small house. Like, it wasn't a massive house. It's just a little thing. And having to navigate around all these objects and constantly be aware of which robot is going to come back online and potentially spot you. And I lucked out in not being seen at all. I came really close one time, but I disabled something. And it was a really fun little experience. And I'm hoping to see a lot more of that in this game, a lot more of this stealth action, because clearly the gunplay is not what this game is about. Something I found pretty cool, in your home base, you 3D print weapons. So they gave us a ton of money in this playthrough so we can just buy whatever we wanted. So I could have played with more, but I didn't really have the time to. You can purchase weapons in here and you'll print them out. You can use them and you can even choose skins on them. You can purchase skins for them. You can also purchase skins for your quadcopter and your roller guy. That's definitely a neat little idea. Something that I kind of forgot through my whole playthrough, which I wish I used more because it's pretty crucial. When you click the right thumbstick, you get this vision mode, which allows you to see everything, see where enemies are, etc. You know, I feel like every game nowadays does this kind of thing, but it was pretty useful, especially when you're doing these stealth missions, which are pretty much everything now. Seeing who's walking where and making sure your bots don't get seen or you don't get seen. When it comes to puzzles, there was this one puzzle on a wall. Normally, you would just go into a separate little menu and do these unlocking puzzles, but this one was fully on the side of a building. You had to fly around it with your quadcopter and hook it all up and make it all work. It felt way more organic and way more fun to do. Complaints about the game, really, I think my big things are, one, the graphics are just not there. And we're gonna see this as we kind of reach the end of this generation, and by the end, I mean, you know, moving towards Xbox Scorpio and such. I played this on PS4. This is a game I'm going to get on PC, and I think I know this right away. I'm just gonna play with the controller because I like using a controller. Because the graphics, not there. And it seems like they're trying to make it look a lot nicer, but because of that, and the PlayStation couldn't handle it, that they have to really down-res everything, and the shadows look not so good, and it all looks kind of blurry. Obviously, I'm very much not about graphics being the be-all, end-all. Gameplay comes first, so that's important. And I did have fun running around the city and just causing havoc, for sure, absolutely. It was a blast. But the story has got to keep up, and I'm really hoping that it's at least all right. Because the first one, that turned a lot of people off. It wasn't fantastic. It had a few moments here and there which were kind of cool, but I wanted so much more from it. And I'm really hoping this isn't all gimmicky, and that you actually develop a relationship with these characters and you appreciate them, and you see their motives and you agree with them, specifically the main character. I want this game to do well. I do. For no other reason than I want video games to do well in general. I want every game to be great. Obviously, that's not a reality. From what I played, I did enjoy, and I did want to play more, but it's got a lot of competition on the market. Even Mafia 3, which I got some gameplay coming up soon for, it's pretty good. That's another competitor on the market. In a Grand Theft Auto world, you've got to compete with Grand Theft Auto, not by doing what they do, but doing something different. And hacking things around the environment, on-foot gameplay, and the stealth is where Watch Dogs 2 succeeds. If they nail that, they've got a good game on their hands. And so far, it seems like they nailed that at least. Watch Dogs 2 comes out November 15th. Chances are I'm going to be streaming it, playing some games of it. I'll do that likely over on youtube.com/Greenskull. Go subscribe there. That's where I do a lot of my playthroughs and talk about different stuff. Let me know what you guys think of Watch Dogs 2. Did you like the first one? Are you excited about the second one? Leave it in the comment section below. Thanks so much for watching. See you next video.
Best I can, man.
Okay, you did a good job.
I'm
We'll figure
not
it out.
saying you're blaming me. I'm just saying we have the right component.
Hey, no, that's not. You're asking me to reprogram it from the beginning.
Stop. Got you something.
Oh, nice! Finally got it. Good job. Good job. This is that.
Hey, no more bulls. These are like liquid cocaine. You think that's a good idea for Josh? Nope. Not gonna happen.
Here we go. Yeah!
I just want to say to everybody. everybody here to motherfucking DedSec that we are the baddest motherfucking hacking, coding, stealing. Well, we don't tell the cops I said that shit. But cheers to us, DedSec.